Hey there, this is Tiff. This week we are working through the GPS week. What is GPS week? It's defined as goal, purpose, and strategy. Just like a GPS, our global positioning system, we're going to set your direction in the world. We're going to craft the map to get you to working towards your goals. This is your treasure map. The treasure are your goals. In order for us to find your treasure, we have to identify and get clear about what you want. So in this session, we have entered a new decade, a new year, and a new beginning. Therefore, we are going to plan out your next decade. Now, this is the behind the scenes video. You will hear the audio version of it. If you want to watch the video and get the worksheet to download and work through, make sure you go to tiffanyMika.com/GPS week. You can register, just add your name and email, and you get the training for free. So look forward to seeing you there. And following is the audio version. Dream big, believe in you, and go after your dreams. Hey there, Tiff here. It's my messy office at the moment. It's GPS week this week, and what GPS week is goals, purpose, and strategy. And because we've just entered 2020, what we're actually going to be doing for this week is we're actually going to be working on planning our goals, not only for, just this year, but for the next decade. I like that photo. It's my husband and I, we got married. So I'm showing you behind the scenes. I'm taking you through my house, hello house. But we're actually coming up here towards the camera, and where I'm going to do some training for you, and I'm going to show you how to set up your decade and how to achieve what it is that you want to achieve for the decade, and also how we're actually going to accomplish some big goals this year in 2020. So I'm just going to set everything up. So we're set, ready to go. Ideally, I wanted to do this outside, but it's a chance that it might actually rain today. So anyway, we're doing it inside. We'll see how we go. If it doesn't rain, then we'll take it outside, because us sports people, especially, we're outdoors people, we like to be outside. I'd like to be outside training with you, but anyway, we got to do what we got to do, because our goals can't wait, can they? So bear with me. I'm just going to set the cameras up, and then we're going to get started into the GPS week. Okay, so this is the behind the scenes stuff, isn't it? So we've got the camera set. Very good. Okay. We are good to go. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to introduce, say hi, I'm Tiff, all of that sort of stuff, so that we can then get started, okay? Hey there, this is Tiff, and welcome to really part one, the very first initial part of our GPS week. Now, because it's 2020, because we're starting a new decade, I thought before we actually get into the nitty-gritty of planning out this year, it's really important that we're going to be planning your next decade, because if you're not thinking about the future, what's the point? What's there to work towards? There's not really much to work towards, is there? Because when we don't have anything to work towards, we lose our drive, we lose our hunger for things, and we sort of just drift along throughout the day, no purpose, and just trying to get through each day, and we don't know why. It's just like in automatic mode, and we don't want to operate like that. And I know what I don't know what you're like, but I know what I'm like over Christmas, and especially this last Christmas that I actually noticed was that I couldn't wait to have a break. So the 24th of December, I had a break. I recorded a few episodes on my podcast show and so on throughout the 2-week break. But what I found was that I was all over the place. I felt like I was like just an absolute mess. Yes, I got a little bit sick and all of that kind of thing, and I was a bit exhausted and worn out. But what I found is because I had no ambition for what I was going to really do over those next 2 weeks of having some time out, I found that I was really drifting, and I found that too that like I had no purpose throughout the day. It was like, oh, I don't know what I'm going to do today. Well, I don't really feel like doing anything. So I was quite slack, and for me being a high performer, I was so frustrated with myself. And so when I could get myself out of that funk, which was, just last week towards the end of the 2-week break, I was like, Tiff, we've got to go through and reevaluate what's actually happened and reflect what's actually happened over this past year, 2019. Let's see where you're at. I've done some great things, really proud of. I've launched my book that I've been talking about launching for quite some time, Focus, How to Reach Your Potential in Sport, Business and Life. So that was really exciting. But I was looking at other things and I was like, well, I haven't really accomplished the things that I've really set out to accomplish. I'm not making big strides yet. Even though that's the plan, to make big strides, to have a huge impact, to show you how to accomplish your big dreams and goals in your life, how to go after what you want. And I'm a high performer, and I was like, I'm not very happy, even with the financial side of things. Yeah, did a bit better last year than previous years, but, that's nothing that's going to blow me out of the water, and I was looking at that, and then I got really, I'm going to say it, I got really pissed off with myself. You know what that feels like when you get really pissed off? Like you're so disgusted with yourself. And that's how I felt. I felt so disgusted with myself that I hadn't actually accomplished those big plans that I've got. I'm like, oh yeah, it's okay, I'll get to them. But I'm not getting to them. I haven't got to them. There was all these other things that I wanted to accomplish by the end of 2019. And, I was like, I was a bit tired and I was a bit burnt out. And, I'd put a lot of emotional effort into a lot of things that I did. I did really well in a course, I did a 6-month course, came first in the course. Really proud of that effort. But again, it's not showing up on the scoreboard for me, and I'm a sports person, just like you, wanting to accomplish big things, but we need to see results as well, don't we? And I was like, So if you felt like that, you're not alone, okay? Just letting you know that we all go through it. Some people admit that they actually go through it. Some people don't. I want to tell you that I do go through that. I go through that quite a lot. I'm constantly thinking that I'm not performing as well and doing as much as I could. And I get quite disappointed with myself in that. But it's a work in progress, and you do it day by day, and you show up day by day, right? You show up every single day and go, what can I do today? And that's what we're going to be focusing on throughout the week. I'm going to show you exactly how that you can plan everything out that you want to accomplish. But the first thing that what we want to do is we want to plan your decade. Okay, so that's really important, isn't it? Because here we are in, what's the year now? It's 2020, isn't it? So it's 2020. Woohoo. Okay, who would have thought that 2020 would have come around so quickly? But every year does. Every year that comes through and disappears, that's 1 year less that we've got left on the earth, isn't it? And when you start thinking about it that way, you're like, oh, you know what? I've got to pull my finger out and I've got to do something. Okay? So what we're going to do, below this video, you'll see a download. I'll have a worksheet provided for you so that you can go through this one. We're just going to focus on planning your next decade in this actual video. Other upcoming videos throughout this week, the GPS week, there'll be other things that I'll be showing you what we're going to be working on, okay? But let's start here first, all right? It's a great place to start. So the question that I'm going to actually ask you today, and if you can download your worksheet right now. If not, you can click on the link and it'll open it up for you. You can have a look at it as I'm talking to you, or you can just listen and take some notes while we're doing that, and then you can go off and do it later. But what we're going to do here is I want you to be thinking about not 2020, because that's the year that we're in right now. What I want you to actually be thinking about is 2030. So that's 10 years away, isn't it? 10 years. And you're thinking, oh, you know, that's so far away. Well, that's what I thought too. And I'm turning big 50 this year, and I can't believe that's actually happening. I'm still coming to terms with that. It's taken me 2 years to get used to the fact that I'm going to be turning the big 50 this year. But when I was 40, I was like, oh yeah, great, you know. Didn't think much about it when I was at 40. When I was 30, again, I didn't think much about it. When I was 20, I didn't think much about it because I didn't understand how I could put things in place and actually accomplish the things that I wanted to accomplish. Now here we're heading towards 2030. We're in 2020, but we're going to 2030. We're going to be 10 years older. You know, it's hard enough to think about turning 50, let alone 60 in 10 years' time. But we've got to do something about it. Don't waste your life. Don't drift along and hope things will happen, because they won't unless you put those actions in place. You set some targets of what you want to accomplish. Okay? So here we go. Question 1. What I want you to do is I want you to actually consider it's now 2030. I want you to go 10 years into the future, and I want you to be thinking about what you have accomplished in 2030. So this is the way that I want you to look at it. So I'm going to do a timeline for you. So here's our timeline right across. You'll see this on your sheet anyway. Here's 2020, sorry. And over here is 2030. Then what? Then I want you to, and you'll have this on the page, like I said, but what I want you then see, then answer, is what have you accomplished in 2030? So what have you accomplished in 2030? What have you accomplished? So there's our timeline. There's our question. Okay? That's number 1. And what I want you to do here is I want you to write everything. Everything. Write it all down. Don't have any limits in your thinking. And the best way to do this is actually put some music on in the background. You could create an event with some friends. You could do it with your children, whatever it is. Make it fun. And then write out everything that you want to accomplish in the next 10 years. Trips, holidays, relationships, finances, sport, life, health, everything. Write it all down. Okay, and then I'll show you how we can then section that off and create it much easier after you've done that first one. Okay, so make sure you do that one first, and then we'll work on the second one. Okay, so as you can see, I've just explained what we've got to do in this first one, haven't you? So we want to write that out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to obviously rub all that out, and then we're going to go to the next one. So remember, we're looking at the behind the scenes. So I'm just going to rub this out, because you're with me in the behind the scenes, aren't you? Because I'm going to package this much better, but I want to show you what I'm actually doing. I'm going to rub this out, and then we're going to do question 2. So it won't be a sec. Now we're back. Okay, so remember, question 1 is most important. We get all that information out first, and then we're going to go into number 2. So number 2, everything that we've actually written out for what we want to accomplish in the next 10 years, right? So it was just blah, brain download, blah, get everything out of your head, okay? There's no wrong, just get it out. So once we've done that, what we're going to do is we're actually going to section it off into actually year by year. And I'll show you how we can do that. But when you do something like this, it can be quite overwhelming. Because I know, like, I've set some big money targets for me this year. And I've set some big goals for what I want to accomplish this year. And I feel quite anxious about them. And I always find that that's good because that's making me feel uncomfortable. I have no idea yet how I'm actually going to accomplish them because they're, you know, up here. And I don't know, I'm still figuring out how I'm going to get there, but I've got some plans in place for this next quarter, which we'll work on later in the week. But it's overwhelming. I've got all these things that I want to accomplish. I actually have done it until the age I'm 90. So I'm overwhelmed big time. How am I going to do it all? But what we're going to do is we're just going to focus on the next 10 years, aren't we? So question 2, what I want you to do now is, like I said, we're going to section it off. I'll show you how we do that. So we're going to draw our timeline again. So we've got our timeline here. Okay, so we might go all the way back here. So we've got 2020 and we've got 2030. Okay, I might get another colour so you can see that a bit better. Just checking, can you see that? Oh yeah, it's all good. Okay, we'll stay with that colour. That's fine. Okay. Oops. All right, so what we're going to do here is we've got 2020, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. That should be right. So 2020. So what we might do is we'll put 2020 here, 2021 here, 2022. So we're going to do all that all the way down, and you'll actually have that on your sheet. So it's all ready for you to go. So you don't have to draw this up, but you can if you want to. It's good to be creative. So I'll just do all this so this makes more sense for you. So what we're going to do is section things off, break it down. That's the way I teach things, is I like to understand how things work, but then let's make it more simple. It's a bit like a mechanic, you know, pull things apart and then break it down, make it simple. Okay, so now what you see here, I'll go back on this side, it's easier to see, for you to see. But now you see here we've got 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023, 2024, 2025, 2026, 2027, 2028, 2029, 2030. Okay? Now, everything that you did in that first question, so you detailed everything that you want to accomplish in the next 10 years. What we want to do now is everything that you've accumulated, downloaded out of your head onto that piece of paper that you've downloaded and spent that time doing that. Now we're going to pick it out and figure out what year we're going to do those things in. Because you don't have to do everything in 2020. It might take some time to get to specific goals that you want to accomplish. You might need to give yourself 3 or 4 years. You might need the things that you've picked out you may not want to do them until a little bit later in the decade. There's no wrong, right? But what we then do is we start taking the pressure off, because what happens is when we set goals, we think that we have to do them all in one hit. We think that we have to accomplish them all in one hit. But it's too hard. It's too hard. If you've got because I know that I always set plenty of goals throughout the year of what I want to accomplish. I don't always achieve them. Some of them I roll into the next year. Some of them I think, I don't think they were really relevant. I don't really need to focus on that anymore. So what we want to do is just identify what's going to happen in each year. That's pretty simple, isn't it? Takes the pressure off then, because then you don't feel like you have to accomplish it all in one year, because it's too hard. Okay? So what we're going to do is do that. So question 1 is what? We're going to figure out what we're going to do. We're going to do a brain download for the first 10 years, or for the next 10 years really. Download, okay, write it all down. The second one is then we're going to section it off into years, and then we're going to write everything down in those years of what we want to have accomplished, of what we've accomplished up until 2030. So we're looking into the future, we're predicting our future. Okay, you're the one that's going to predict your future, you're the one that's going to make your future happen. But if we don't get it out of our head and onto paper, it doesn't happen. It just stays as a dream. We don't want to be dreaming. We don't want to be wishing, and we don't want to be wondering. Okay? So that's what you're going to be doing. Now, coming up in the next video, just bear with me 1 second. I wanted to share what we're going to be doing coming up in the next video. Again, it's behind the scenes stuff. So you're saying it's not perfect. We don't have to be perfect. We just want to make things happen. Okay? So I'm going to start again. So coming up in the next video, what we're actually going to be working on is how you're going to really get clear about this year. So yeah, you've put some things down here in 2020, what you want to accomplish like you have for the other years. But now we're going to just focus on 2020. We're going to work on how we're going to get clear and how we're going to put things in place. And I'm going to show you exactly how that we can do that. So I hope you really enjoyed this first day of our GPS week. I hope you really enjoyed that. What we're doing is we're looking at the big picture right now. We're starting to think about what we want to accomplish in the next 10 years, getting it out of our head. And if you'd love to leave a comment down below, I'd love to hear from you. And also, get out there and do it, and share with me what you have decided what you want to do over the next 10 years. I'd love to hear that. If you want to take a screenshot or you want to take a photo of your plan, I'd love to see it, and you can email it to me, okay? That'd be fantastic. All right, so what I want you to do now is get to work, create it as an event, do it with friends and family if you want to, put some music on, make it fun, have nibbles, make it a party. That's a great idea. I'm going to do that in the future. And I want you to dream big, believe in you, and go after your dreams. So that's it. That's how we shoot the video. That's the behind the scenes. So I hope you enjoyed that. Like I said, now it's up to you to get to work and do it, isn't it? So I look forward to hearing from you real soon. I look forward to seeing what you've actually put together. Dream big, believe in you, go after your dreams. Thanks for listening to today's episode. If you haven't yet downloaded the #1 deadly mistake athletes make sure you go to tiffany-mika.com and download the #1 deadly mistake athletes make. Share with me what you like best about what you heard in the comments section wherever you hear this episode. Share with your friends that you know that would benefit from these episodes, and please leave a 5-star review wherever you hear these episodes. I would really appreciate it. Dream big, believe in you, go after your dreams. Have an absolutely awesome day.